When I saw The Suicide Squad, I enjoyed it a lot. The whole fun thing about the movie is that it doesn't take itself seriously. The whole concept of The Suicide Squad is that everyone in this group can die at any moment, basically. No one is for sure gonna make it out, and no one's safe. And also the vibe of this movie is completely aware of what's going on. It knows it has this super goofy group of characters, this insane over-the-top plot that is honestly just starfish. However, when I watched the movie, I did like the Peacemaker character, but out of all the characters I thought would get a spinoff, he's honestly probably the one I thought the least likely to get a spinoff show. In my opinion, I think Ratcatcher honestly would have had a show before him. She had a super intense backstory and actually had like backstory scenes developing her and stuff. Bloodsport is obviously a super cool character too. I thought he would get a spinoff show maybe, but also King Shark is someone I thought could get their own maybe spinoff show, miniseries or something. He easily has the least amount of dialogue out of anyone in that movie, but his scenes are also some of the more memorable scenes in the entire film too.
I wear disguise. Fake mustache.
You still look exactly like yourself.
Even Polka Dot Man with his mama drama honestly would have been a really cool concept. But obviously you've seen the movie, spoiler alert, Peacemaker's kind of not really a good guy. By the end, he's kind of a traitor, kind of betrays the team a little bit, and ultimately obviously kills Rick Flag by just shoving some fucking object in him. I don't even remember what object it is. It's like a wooden stake or like a screw or something, but he just shoves it just like right in him. And so when they announced a Peacemaker show was coming, I was extremely confused. First question, fucking why? Second question,
Are you fucking serious right now?
third question is just why again, but kind of more of in a sad way. It's more of a
Why?
And now that the Peacemaker show has come out and it has been finished now, I'm gonna give my thoughts on it because I've watched it completely. And I have to say, this is easily one of the best shows I've seen in a long time, and it's easily the best show that's come out so far this year. We'll see if it ends up being the best show by the end of the year, but I fucking love this show. Now, because of how much I like this show, I'm gonna try to avoid any spoilers at all, so I'm not gonna dive into too much spoilers into the actual Peacemaker show itself. I will obviously be discussing the stuff that happens in kind of the Suicide Squad movie that came out, so whatever. But I'm not gonna talk too much about the show just because I think the show rides so hard on cliffhangers and just kind of like binging it entirely, so I'm not gonna spoil the actual show itself. With that said, let's honestly just talk about this fucking masterpiece. First of all, like a lot of people, I honestly extremely questioned if John Cena was capable of running a show in terms of like being the main character. And he's been good in things for sure. He's been fine. I wouldn't say he's like a bad actor, but I wouldn't put him in like the great category or anything like that. Although I will say, if you watched the movie Blockers, John Cena is amazing in that movie. Actually, I think he actually, you know what, I'm lying. He carries Blockers. Watch Blockers. I think John Cena honestly carries a majority of that film. I don't know why I'm saying he's a bad actor or not a great actor. He's great in Blockers. But point is, as an actor as a whole, he doesn't have a great reputation, you know? So from the jump, I didn't fully believe in John Cena as an actor and didn't believe he could carry the show. And also the whole time I'm just thinking, why the fuck are they making a show off of this extremely D-list character? It just makes no sense for me. I just kind of like, really, this is where's the Green Lantern show that everyone keeps talking about? Like, let's get to that. I was fucking wrong. So let's get into it. What makes this show so good? Well, if I'm honest, honestly, everything. First off, the pacing. This show never has a single dull, bad, average, meh episode at all. My issue with another big show that came out this year, whose name rhymes with Go-Go Jet. I'm not saying anything, but you know. In that show, almost half the show is just ass, right? Pretty much, right? Peacemaker, though, from beginning to end, doesn't stop. It's honestly just extremely fun to watch from the first episode all the way to the very last episode. It's just consistently great throughout. There was never like a moment where the show slowed down or it felt like it kind of hung up a little bit. The emotional moments hit, the more slower, somber moments hit really good. The action-packed, extremely fast-paced scenes also hit really well too. Another thing that stuck out for me with the show is the writing. I have not laughed this much at a show in a super long time. I can't even remember the show that made me laugh this much that I'd watched recently. It's probably maybe Parks, but even then, like, that's like a 6-7 season show. This is 8 or 9 episodes or something. It's not a comparison, you know? Point is, this show had me laughing on some crazy shit. And that's the craziest part too, is this show's not meant to be a comedy or a comedic show or anything like that. The writing just happens to be so good that even a character that's fucking irrelevant and just not recognizable at all, like Peacemaker, can be a super funny comedic character while still having his super serious moments too. And like I said, there's moments where I couldn't stop laughing. And also, let's not miss out on this fucking amazing intro for this show, dude. The intro for this show is just perfect. I don't know how else to describe it. At first, when I saw the intro, I was kind of like, all right, like, is this like a joke? Is this, you know, they can't be serious. They're not gonna do this for every episode. They fucking do it for every episode, and it's amazing. This is the only intro I've never skipped at all. Every single episode, I let the intro ride. I was skipping Game of Thrones intros. I skipped Breaking Bad intros. I don't even know what the fucking Breaking Bad intro even looks like because I skipped it. I've never seen it before. I skip every single intro to any show. Avatar, any intro, it's gone. I don't care. Don't see it. Actually, Avatar is a sick ass intro. You gotta watch that one. But point is, the show's intro completely understands itself. It knows that this show is a funny, over the top, just thrill ride of a show. And I think they kind of just was like, hey, you know, let's just embrace it and just go crazy with this intro and just make something fun and kind of unique that sticks out and is memorable. And I'm talking about it, so obviously it worked. Now, the action in the show is also extremely well done. I wouldn't say it's like an amazing action show, and that's like the main purpose of the show is the fight scenes or anything like that. It's not John Wick or anything, but it is really well done. I never felt like they did the blurry, shaky cam stuff. Everything is well directed and also has really, really good choreography. For a show that doesn't have a huge budget, they don't really use a lot of big like effects and stuff like that on the fight scenes. The fight scenes are almost always hand-to-hand combat, you know? And honestly, the thing that I think is just by far the best thing about this show is the characters. Okay, maybe not the best thing. I think this is probably tied with writing, and it kind of goes hand in hand with writing because you write for the characters, so the characters are what they are written, you know? So maybe I should just talk about this during the writing part, but I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it now. So every character is a 10 in this show. Every single one. I'm not saying everyone that's in this show deserves like an Oscar or an Emmy or anything like that, but everyone that's in this show definitely understood the assignments for their characters, hands down. The casting is honestly perfect too. Peacemaker, who's essentially like this just gigantic white boy baby guy thing who is extremely gullible in almost every single way possible. This scene, for example.
Batman doesn't kill people.
Because he's a pussy!
He's a dark creature of the night.
He's a jackass who wrestles with murderers dressed like clowns and throws them in prison so they can break out of prison and then murder more people. Riddle me this. How many people you think Batman's indirectly murdered by being too much of a candy ass not to kill these fools who clearly need to be smoked once and for all, you wrinkly, Shar-Pei-looking dimension-infested fuck!
Peacemaker's also extremely determined and motivated and just wants to get the job done. You know, like he would say it at the cost of how many kids' lives? Just anyone. He will kill anyone. This is literally his speech right here. His actual speech.
Nothing like a bloodbath to start the day.
They call you Peacemaker.
Cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
John Cena plays Peacemaker perfectly. I feel so dumb. He literally is Peacemaker. Like, I don't know. I've never read a Peacemaker comic book, so I can't say like how accurate his portrayal is to that character. But point is, his portrayal here is either just so good or just so memorable to where I just feel like no matter what, I will think of him as Peacemaker, you know? And Vigilante, who is this like young, elusive fighter, you know, who's also like an extremely clumsy fool who just honestly wants to just be there to hang out with Peacemaker, who also happens to give us one of the coolest fight scenes in this whole show, but also gives us one of the funniest scenes in this show. So
when I find out someone murdered an innocent person, or sold somebody heroin, or did some graffiti, and I kill that person with my bare hands, their eyeballs popping out of their skulls. Now, do I sound like a fucking maniac?
And that's kind of what I'm trying to get here, is that not one character is one thing. You know, John Cena is Peacemaker, who is this comedic, goofy, lovable guy, but he's also this extremely hurt, destroyed person who has a lot of things going on inside him that he just hasn't fully realized yet. He has a lot of things from his past with his dad that he just hasn't even looked at. He's completely ignored a lot of his upbringing just because of how rough it was for him. So you have a lot of depth to these characters, which is like really surprising in a show that's so funny and a show that has so much comedic moments, to have also so many deep character moments too. Like Vigilante, like I said, he is for the most part a comic relief character, right? But he also has an actual drive. You can tell he's probably the only person in this group that actually just wants to do good things, but is also willing to kill people. So actually, never mind. He's just like everyone in the group. The point is, he has his own character. Obviously, he's a little bit more on the funny side than anything else, but you can tell that he actually wants to do something good and actually wants to have a friendship with Peacemaker. That's what he cares about. He cares about Peacemaker as a person and as kind of like a symbol, you know? And then we have another character like Harrencourt, I believe. They say her name kind of quick sometimes, I don't know, but like Harrencourt, I think, who is a tough on the outside, kind of soft on the inside kind of character mold, right? You think she'd be a very basic, easy thing to understand. And while she's not a super complex character, she does have her own growth in becoming a leader and in becoming kind of an individual that stands up for herself in a way that isn't just for her, but also for her team. She seems kind of like a lone wolf at first in the beginning, and by the end, she seems more of like a team player. So I think that's really cool too. And there's more characters I enjoy. Obviously, I'm not going to break down each character. Like I said, I want you guys to watch the show and enjoy it for yourself. So I'm not going to talk too much about every single one. Just know, in my opinion, every character does their thing and they do it all really well. I think my biggest takeaway from the show is that anything can be good and also anything can be bad. Like I said earlier, the show Go Fett, whatever, Boba Fett, you know what I'm talking about. That show, in my opinion, proved that anything that I think is going to be great and amazing always has the potential to suck ass. And Peacemaker shows me that any show that has a huge potential to suck ass still has a good amount of potential to be really, really great. So right now, obviously, as I'm saying and as I've kind of said already, Peacemaker is my favorite show this year. Obviously, we're only in February, so I sound dumb as hell saying that. That's kind of the whole joke of this video. I'll probably make a follow-up video maybe towards the end of the year just saying, hey, hey, is this show still my favorite of the year, or did another show come out and is it even better than the show? I don't know, but I love the show. Point is, it's amazing. Please go watch it. So go subscribe for more videos. I do a lot of content on anime and movies and TV shows and gaming and just a bunch of stuff. I'm also planning a full watch through of all the Studio Ghibli movies, so that's gonna be super cool. So subscribe for that and like this video because I mean a lot. I put a lot of work into these, so that'd be super dope. But thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Have a good one.